Hey out there. Thanks for tuning in. It's the eve of New Year's Eve 2020. I don't think this is going to be my last video for the year, but it might be. Happy New Year. So listen, I usually make a video in the afternoon after I gather my thoughts, do all my stuff, and then I come and I make a quick video. But I had to make one this morning because I was excited. About what, you ask? Real estate. So I was looking at property this morning and I just happened to stumble upon a 3-unit multifamily in Kingsburg for $379,000. And I was thinking specifically about one of my friends that has his VA eligibility, and I was thinking, well, let me run some numbers and see if this is a make sense kind of a deal for someone to move into the property and rent out the other ones. So I got excited. I started running numbers. So I said, let me make a quick video about this. Now I'm going to talk about the cons first, and then I'm going to talk about the pros, because there's some pros. The property's $379,000. It's a 3-unit property. I spoke to the realtor, called the realtor. Hi. Had some questions. Talked to the realtor, got some answers. So here's the cons on this. In the market that we're in right now, it's an inflated price. $379,000, maybe about a year ago, they probably would have went onto the market for about, I don't know, $345, $350, but it's inflated at $379. So we got an inflated price. The other con is it's in Kingsburg. I'm not saying anything negative about Kingsburg, but Kingsburg's not the nicest place, let's just say. However, I'm going to run all the numbers, and then you tell me whether or not it's worth it for somebody. Besides the inflated price, it also has high taxes. $10,550 a year taxes for Kingsburg. Kind of high. You need flood insurance. It's in a flood zone. So I got the flood insurance premium for the year. So I ran some numbers. So these are the cons. Inflated price, high taxes, and it needs flood insurance. Well, then you're probably saying, well then Harry, why are you making a video about this? This isn't a good deal. But wait. So I told you the cons. So even in today's market with an inflated price, high taxes, it's in a flood zone, you could still make money on this property. Not only could you still make money, you could make quite a bit of money. So here's the pros. There's an add value at this house, which means in this particular case, the rent that they're currently paying, there's 3 units. So there's 2 1-bedroom units and there's 1 2-bedroom unit. The rents are way undervalued. And the reason why, the realtor told me, is because they're all relatives of the owner. One 1-bedroom only gets $1,000 a month. The other one gets, I think, $1,100 or $1,200 a month. And then the 2-bedroom pays $1,400 a month. I know, because I have properties around here, what the going rent is, and that's very low. Today's interest rates, I contacted my buddy Tim, the loan extraordinaire, for some going interest rates for VA and FHA. I'm going to use all the numbers that I'm going to put up here in a second are going to be using 2.75% interest rate. That's with 0 points. I prefer my loans with 0 points. I don't want to pay any points. There's usually not that big of a difference with interest rates with paying a point versus 0 points. In this case, Tim gave me a couple quotes, and one of them was at 2.375%. And you just pay a little bit. You pay like a quarter point or so. But for today's numbers, I'm going to use 2.75% so that I'm not over-promising anybody. Low or 0 down payment. On an FHA loan, 3.5% down payment. That's low. That equals up to about $13,000. I'll give you those numbers in a second. But the person that I had this in mind for, Frank, with the VA eligibility, could get into this property with 0 down payment. And then I also put down seller concession as a pro. I'm going to go over all these things. So these things, these pros, offset the cons. So even if it's not this particular property that you want, I'm going to go over all the numbers so that it might get your creative juices going. You say, you know what? I'm diving into the market. So if I was going into this property the way that I'm suggesting for you to go into this property. Now, I'm not going into this property because as an investor, I'd have to come up with at least 20% down. Most of the time, actually 25% down. Coming out of pocket 25% down on a $379,000 property isn't something I'm really interested in right now. I need to have my cash, recirculating out there. But for someone that's going to go into it as an owner-occupied, or at least with the intentions of occupying the premises as your primary residence, that was a whole nother video. Intentions. I'm gonna use it for you. I'm gonna use these numbers as if you're buying it. I think $375 with a $10,000 seller concession would get this seller to sell. $379, I already told you it's inflated. It's been on the market for about 3-4 weeks. In this market, that means it's probably overpriced a little bit. So this is what I would do. I would go in with an offer at $375,000. That's strong. He's only asking $379. Here's the kicker. $375, but in the contract, I would have a $10,000 seller concession in there. What's a seller concession? A seller concession is where the sellers are going to pay, in this case, up to $10,000 worth of your closing costs. That's important because if you're like me, you like to come out of pocket with the least amount of money. So the seller's paying $10,000 towards your closing costs means all your closing costs will be taken care of. This is your title work, this is your lender fees, this is your prepaid insurance, flood, homeowner's insurance, your prepaid taxes, all those kind of things could all be wrapped up into the $10,000. Now someone could say, yeah, but you're adding that amount onto your loan. In this case, with the interest rates that I'm talking about, it's in your benefit to do it that way. So let's say we get a $375 purchase price, seller pays $10,000 worth of seller concessions. If you're using a VA loan, like I was telling Frank that he should be using his VA loan, you got zero down payment. Zero down payment, and the seller's paying all your closing costs. Do you know how much money you have to come out of pocket for this deal? Zero. Why wouldn't you do it? However, not everybody has the VA eligibility. A lot of people would have to go in with an FHA loan. An FHA loan is still a great deal. On this piece of property, the numbers that I'm running, you'd have to come out of pocket $13,125 for a down payment. Now the numbers I'm going to give you for the monthly payment, if you went FHA, you'd have to include a couple extra $100 in there because of the mortgage insurance that FHA would make you pay. But still, the numbers still are amazing. And don't forget, this is on an inflated price home. Anyway, now you can see why I get pumped up about this stuff. Your PITI payment on this property would be $2,692 if you went with, I was using the VA, so take into consideration, it'd probably be closer to $3,000 if you went with an FHA loan. The PITI that I'm taking into consideration is everything. It's including, which I already told you, the taxes are high over there, $10,550 a year taxes. That's kind of high for Kingsburg, but still. $2,300 a year for homeowners insurance. That sounds kind of high, and I think you can get a little bit lower, but these are actual numbers from the realtor, and they pay $1,100 in flood insurance. Now, I didn't say this before, but one of the reasons why this property is kind of exciting to me is that the seller will get the CO, which from previous videos you see that me getting the CO is not one of the favorite things in the world for me to do. I don't like dealing with the building departments. Jumping through hoops, sometimes they make you feel like you gotta grovel. Not a big fan of that. So, in this case, the seller will go through that process. So it's a legal, 3-family, and when you buy the house, it's gonna be presented to you with a clear CO. It's awesome. So you got $2,692 all in every month. The current rents equal $3,600 a month. That's with a $1,200 one, a $1,000 one, and a $1,400 one for the 2-bedroom. As I said before, I'm familiar with the rents, and from the information I received from the realtor, they're all low. They're all relatives of the owner. Here's another nice thing about this property. They're on month to month, which means you could ask them to leave. I know that that's not one of the best things in the world for landlords or something, but I might go in and say, listen, the rents are really under market. I understand that you've been here for a while. If you want to stay, I'm going to be raising them to X amount. However, to soften the blow, I'm just going to raise it to this amount if you're good with that. I doubt they will be. But anyway, make a long story short, the current rents are $3,600. Undervalued rents, overpriced house, high taxes in a flood zone, and just look at those numbers. You'd still be making almost $1,000 a month if you didn't live in one of the units. Almost $1,000 a month on one piece of property. Does that get you excited? It gets me excited. Now listen, let's say you're all going to move into it. You're not going to just intend to move into it and then you don't. Let's say you're going to move in, like Frank, single guy. He's going to move into one of the one bedrooms, right? Well, I'm going to tell you what the rents should look like and run the numbers, and I think you're going to get excited. So I never want to present a video with like too foo-foo kind of numbers in there to try to give you guys like unrealistic expectations. So I was using $26.92 as if we went in with a VA loan, no mortgage insurance. I think it was 2.75% interest. So I want to make sure you see $26.92 from the previous slide, and then also see for an FHA loan you'd probably be closer to, I don't know, $2,900, but I'll use $3,000 for FHA. This way it's more realistic. And don't forget, with FHA you'd need to come out of pocket a little bit over $13,000. The current rents on this would still justify buying this property with the cash flow. $3,600, $1,200, $1,000, $1,400. Now these are for one bedrooms, and that's for the two bedroom that's there. However, realistically speaking, these aren't like foo-foo numbers. They're inflated so that Harry could make these numbers sound good. These are real. I have one place in Hazlitt. I have 3 places in Union Beach and another one in Mattawan. I'm familiar with the rents. You can easily get $1,500 a month for a one bedroom over there, and at least $1,800 a month for the two bedroom over there. The buyer, the landlord's going to be responsible for the water and the sewer. I'm not going to get into detail about those other expenses, but I will mention them towards the end. The tenants in this case pay for everything else, all the gas and the electric, and there's separate meters and everything else. So you're talking about, you could jack up the rents a little bit to $4,800. This is with minimum, I'm talking about maybe just going into the apartments and cleaning up. If you had to put down some new carpets and stuff like that, you could come out of pocket a little bit. It depends. But people are living there right now, and they're paying this rent. They're relatives. At $4,800 a month rent that you could be making on this property, even using an FHA loan with a $3,000 a month mortgage payment, everything included, you're talking about an $1,800 a month positive cash flow. Yes, Harry, you have some other expenses in there, the water, the sewer, they're kind of nominal. And then you got to put a little bit aside just in case there's any kind of issues with any of the other stuff that's in the house. But when you see $1,800 a month positive cash flow, or $1,800, let's take $800 off the top, which is very unrealistic. When you talk about $1,800 a month, I get excited. You get excited about it? So let's run some scenarios. Let's say my friend Frank, or Joe, or Bill, or Susie, or Eric, the new subscriber, said, you know what, I have intentions of moving in here, but I'm not going to really move into it. That's what you're looking at. $4,800 for the 3 units being rented. But let's say one of those guys or ladies say, you know what, I'm going to house hack. What's house hacking, Harry? House hacking is when you go into a property and you either rent rooms out, or in this case, you rent the other units out, and it subsidizes or pays for your whole mortgage. So in this case, let's say Frank goes into one of the units, the $1,500 unit. So now he's only got 2 rents going on instead of 3. They pay his mortgage for him while he lives for free in one of the units. I'm pumped up about this. So I know what a lot of people are going to be saying, well, Harry, you know, sounds like a good deal. However, I've been saying I want to do it, but I don't think I could pull the trigger. There's too many different risk factors in there. And I'm analyzing the situation. First of all, Kingsburg's not that great of an area. I don't know if it's up and coming. You know, you made previous videos about appreciation. I don't know if appreciation is going to be coming along. You know, there's this other thing. What about the furnace? You know, have you checked out the roof and all these different things? And I know. I've been there. Analyst paralysis. That's it. And I made a video about that. So, here's the offer. I want to take away all arguments and all doubts. If you see this and you're in a position to be able to buy it as an owner-occupant with intentions to move into it, then we could always do this. My offer to you, you can buy it. Now, when I say you can buy it, that means with me doing all the legwork, paperwork, explaining it all, making it all legal, everything else. You could buy the place, just like with the numbers that I said before. Me, I'd buy it off of you. Slight profit. I'd give you a slight profit there. You make money every month. Let's say the numbers I was just running with the 48 versus the 3,000, 1,800, and I actually run all the numbers and we see all the other expenses, the water, the sewer, we put a little bit of money aside, and let's say we come up with $1,000 overall profit each month. I'd give you $500 a month for doing nothing. Because that would be me taking all the responsibilities. Because this is kind of me putting my money where my mouth is. Well, Harry, what about the FHA down payment money, that $13,125? Who's going to come up with that? I'll come up with that too. So you get into the property with zero money. All you have to do is on paper buy it, and I'll walk you through that. Make it all legal so that, if something happens, you come and take it back off of Harry. We could put the terms down that are favorable as far as how long. Is this a 2-year commitment? Is this a 5-year commitment? Do you want a 10-year commitment? Whatever we negotiate. You make half of the profits every month, $500 a month for doing nothing. So that's my 3-unit deal for the day. If you're interested, let me know. We could put this thing together.